Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rambling RunOff. I am your host, Robert Rios, here to give you the sports news I think you need to hear. And of course, joining me as always is Mr. Senor Danny Tan. Danny, say what's up to the people real quick, please.
What up, y'all? We're back.
Yes, we are back from our 1 week hiatus. As some of y'all may have remembered, I did mention that there would be no show, but yeah, we're back here again. I know there's a few things that we gotta kind of go over, but yeah, we're glad to be here today to give you the sports news. You know, we're always rambling, we're always running, and you know how it do, you know how it be. But yeah, on today's show, we're gonna be talking about MLS Week 1. Of course, gonna be going over some NBA news. We had the All-Star game not so long ago, and going over the standings as well. Then in the warm-up, we're going to be going over the topic of courtstorming, as there was a slight incident that occurred in NCAA basketball this past weekend. We're going to kind of delve into that. And of course, in the rundown, we're going to be talking about a bunch of different stuff. So please stay towards the end to hear all that yapping. But first, Danny, and as always, we need to check in with you. Our little intro here. How have you been? How was your past week?
Busy week, busy weekend. I went to my cousin's wedding. Congratulations to my cousin, now cousin-in-law.
Nice.
I was in the city of Houston, Texas. Pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Fun wedding, beautiful wedding. A lot of fun. Other than that, been trying to get back into golf. I've had a pretty busy February, so I haven't been really able to get out, but I was last night able to go play night golf with a couple of friends, and that was pretty fun. Excuse me.
Y'all had the neon balls, huh?
Yeah. We played with the light up balls because I wasn't sure if like all the lights would be on. So I got some of those light up balls, and you know, they're light up balls. They don't go as far as regular balls, but you know, still pretty good. And I'm glad I did because one of the holes, they didn't have the light on at all, and I was like, man, thank goodness we have the light up balls, because it would be real hard to find them right now.
No, I feel on that. Remember last time we had went and we could not find our balls?
Yeah, and to be fair, at the time that course was under construction, so their lights weren't great, but yeah, we had a real hard time finding our balls.
No, yeah, but that's good though. At least you got to do something over this past week.
Yeah, it was raining, which made it a little fun, drizzling, and then eventually it stopped raining while we're playing, so it was still pretty fun.
All right. For me, I just bummed it. I mean, there was a few things that I was able to kind of do for the show in regards, but yeah, I just kind of took it chill because, like, yeah, keep it a buck. I was feeling kind of a little tired after the past couple weeks. I want to burn myself out now doing this, you know. I love doing this. It's just like, yeah, I was getting a little fatigued.
Yeah,
mentally.
I mean, burnout is a big thing. Even recently, a lot of creators feeling burnout. This morning, I think T-Pain had a viral post saying, "Don't burn yourself out. You know, work on yourself. Yeah, believe in you." I think he said.
That's some good advice there. But Danny, I would also like to wish you, if it hasn't ended yet, I'm sorry I didn't double check, a happy belated Lunar New Year.
Oh yeah, thank you. Lunar New Year, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, typically a week-long celebration. Yeah, thank you. Lunar New Year. Year of the Dragon this year, very prosperous year for everybody, so happy Lunar New Year to everybody.
Oh, okay, and would you care to tell the people what is so special about the dragon?
The dragon is just a symbol of prosperity. He is, the dragon is just it's a divine animal. Supposedly the last animal in the race, because he wanted to give everyone the chance to get there, and he didn't care. But the dragon is just, legendary creature in almost all cultures. And yeah, it's just the start of another zodiac cycle. And it is a very prosperous year for everybody, and everyone should have good health and good luck throughout the year. So happy Lunar Year to everybody.
Thank you, Danny, for that information. Welcome to Rambling Runoff, where you learn historical facts. But yeah, happy Lunar New Year to everybody who celebrates that. But yeah, Danny, are you ready to start sports rambling?
I'm ready.
Alrighty then, everybody. Our first topic, as I mentioned in our very brief intro, is the MLS 2024 season week 1. Yes, after a couple months off, we have finally made it to the MLS regular season. It took a little while, but we are finally here. And I'm just going to be going over some of the scores, some of the goals that caught my attention. And we'll see where we go from there. How's that sound, Danny?
That sounds awesome.
Alrighty then. Kicking off this past week, our season, the MLS season, the MLS season kicked off on February 21st with Real Salt Lake traveling to Inter Miami, where the final score was 2-0 in favor of Inter Miami. We had Robert Taylor scoring in the 39th minute and Mr. Gomez scoring in the 83rd minute. I believe Robert Taylor was assisted by one Lionel Messi. So, of course, Inter Miami getting off on the right foot. Real Salt Lake, who's known to be scrappy, I would say we're a little bit more lenient in their defensive plan in regards to Messi and friends, which it was okay, but you could tell those 2 goals were already enough, especially in that second half. And yeah, in that 80th minute, Real Salt Lake was trying to push people up, and that's what kind of got them, bit them in the butt in the end. And Miami was able to get that second goal. And then, of course, we had our major day of MLS on Saturday, the 24th. We had just a slew of games on tap. First game of the day was the Columbus Crew getting their, how would you say, Danny, their opening day rings, or their MLS Cup Finals rings.
Yeah, their championship rings. Yeah, the ring ceremony.
Yeah, they had the ring ceremony. They were able to lift up a banner at their new stadium, Lower.com Stadium. And Columbus took the victory 1-0 over Atlanta. Cucho Hernandez was able to get the lone goal in the 27th minute. It was somewhat of a goal on the run of play on a breakaway. He was able to slot it in, and yeah, they took home the W that day. That was the first game in the morning. Well, morning for me, at least. Then after that, another game that was highlighted for a lot of people. We had Seattle Sounders traveling to LAFC. LAFC were victorious 2-1. We had goals by Timothy Tillman in the 45th minute. And then Bogusz with a blast. A great goal, by the way, in the 55th minute. Pure finesse on it. And then in the 73rd, Pedro de la Vega, Argentinian, making his first start for Seattle, scored in the 73rd off of a penalty. Out in Charlotte, New York City went out there to go challenge the new boys in blue. Charlotte FC were victorious 1-0 with the Adelson Malanda goal in the 8th minute, the lone goal of the game. I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think of early goals, because sometimes I feel like when you score a goal in the first couple minutes and nothing else happens, it's kind of just it's a struggle. I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. Next up, we had the first hat trick of the season between DC United and New England. New England being the visitors. DC United had Christian Benteke, their striker, scoring in the 34th, the 72nd, and the 92nd minute of the game. Then we also had Carlos Hill, the lone goal for New England in the 67th, which was a banger, by the way. A left-footed shot, went over everybody. Goalkeeper never stood a chance. It was really good. And then we also had a red card, first red of the season. We had a Giacomo Veroni in the 25th minute being sent off He got double yellowed, I believe. Then we also had our first 0-0 of the season with Orlando City and Montreal going 0-0, which those games are always... Orlando City is a heart attack team, so I'm surprised they didn't at least get a goal, but also I'm not surprised that they tied, because they do tie a lot over there. Then out in Philadelphia, the Chicago Fire were the visitors. The game ended 2-2. For Union on the score sheet, we had Mikael Yuri in the 55th minute. Daniel Gazda in the 93rd. For Chicago, they had Brian Gutierrez in the 39th and Fabian Erbers in the 82nd. I think Philadelphia could have taken the lead. They had a goal called off in the beginning. This game probably should have ended 3-2, but you could tell Philly was struggling there in this game. Chicago, who finally spent some money, they look great out there. Shaqiri, was getting the boys going, being the number 10, passing the ball, creating stuff, and it looked really good out there. And I hate to say this, I think I'm going to have to jump off. Well, unless they change my mind, it might be time for me to jump off the Philadelphia Union bandwagon. The past couple of years have been great. They made it to the final not so long ago, but it's starting not to look so good for the Philadelphia Union. Moving on now, the only home team to lose this past weekend, in Austin, we had Minnesota United visiting Austin FC. Minnesota winning 2-1. Austin's lone goal was Guilherme Biro in the 94th minute. And in Minnesota...
Losers, am I right, Rob?
You're a fool.
I lose at home in the opening,
I know, the only team to lose at home.
That sucks.
Minnesota had Robin Lode scored in the 34th and Alejandro Brand in the 90th minute. Danny, before I keep going, do you want to hop in real quick? Do you have any opinions on these score lines or anything that caught your eye over MLS opening weekend?
Not really. I mean, it's great that these home teams won. Columbus Crew, you know what it be. Other than that, it seems like the top teams from last season, so far, are, winning. So, well, roll on, how it be.
Oh yeah, there you go. Next up in the order, we had FC Dallas facing off against San Jose. San Jose, the visitors. Dallas 2-1, getting a late game winner by Dante Seeley. Scoring, although the Quakes were the first team to score in this game. Benji Kirkanovich in the 6th minute. San Jose out there in their OG Quake jerseys. Then Asir Uramendi scores for FC Dallas in the 25th. And yeah, literally a last-minute goal by Dante Seeley gets Dallas the win at home. I think that would have been a slight upset if it ended 1-1, honestly, because San Jose has just not been good. They gave away arguably their best player, and I don't know, their owner blames the stadium on why people don't want to go to their games or why they don't sell. I don't know, but Dallas getting the late victory at the end of that one. Also out in Texas still, we had Kansas City visiting the Houston Dynamo. The game ended in a 1-1 draw. With Houston's Gabriel Segal in the 69th and Kansas City's Eric Tame in the 61st. Shout out to the Bronco YouTuber. He was out there. He's going to try to rank out everyone's best home presentation. He's a Texas native himself. He said he was very underwhelmed by Houston's show out crowd-wise. He said there wasn't that many people. And, even getting them to say, let's go Dynamo was kind of hard. So, I didn't give them a good rating on it, on the crowd. But, come on, Houston, do better. Next up, we had Real Salt Lake, once again, in this opening weekend, going up against St. Louis, where the game ended 1-1. St. Louis, very own Samuel Adrian, I believe that's how you pronounce it, in the 79th. But first, we had Salt Lake's Christian Arango in the 74th minute. So in the span of about 5 minutes, you had 2 goals there. And like I said, Real Salt Lake's a scrappy team. You already got a little taste of blood from the first game, and I'm pretty sure they didn't want to leave with an L. And then probably the surprise of the weekend, considering this was the highest scoring game of the weekend as well. Colorado Rapids, who finally spent some money, got Sam Vines, got Zach Steffen as their goalkeeper. Traveled to Portland Timbers, who just recently signed Phil Neville, who was released from Miami. This team, had questionable up in the air. No one knew what to expect, and yeah, they came out and hit Colorado right in the mouth, winning 4-1. For Portland, they had Eric Williams in the 9th, Anthony, a young kid, scoring twice, in the 14th and 29th minute, and then unfortunately Sam Vines was the unruly winner of the 45th minute own goal. And then the lone goal for Colorado, nope, I didn't even read that. I didn't even realize this. Calvin Harris in the 55th minute. Yeah, for real. Portland getting a 4-1 victory. Evander, one of their better players, had to come out of the game. I think they were missing a couple other starters. I mean, I'm shocked too, because I think this might be Portland's return to greatness, considering they won, I think, MLS Cup in 2015. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see how else Portland does this next coming week. Then on Sunday, we had 3 games, 2 of which ended 0-0. Cincinnati and Toronto ended 0-0. And then Nashville and New York Red Bulls ended 0-0. But Danny, possibly the game of the week, the most eyeball-looking game that I've ever seen, most popular game of the week, was between the LA Galaxy and Inter Miami, which did not disappoint, considering it was a star-studded affair. I know I was sending you pictures of a slew of celebrities that were there. One of your favorite celebrities was there, Anderson .Paak, by the way. I believe that was his, according to his Instagram, his first MLS game or first Galaxy game. So, congrats, he was able to experience that. And yeah, I mean, in the MLS, the Galaxy came out, no expense. I mean, no expense was not taken. You had celebrity DJ Aliso playing throughout the game. You had David Beckham coming back to the old stomping grounds. He has a statue there, by the way. And oh yeah, Lionel Messi was there too. So there was a lot of pink. I believe they had just a little over 27,000, which, according to reports, is like maybe another 200 or 300 people, and that would be the full capacity, because they've been known to be able to bump up capacity as much as they can. They filled up the grass berm. They added seats behind one of the supporter sections. They had standing room only. Like every inch of that stadium was filled to the brim to see this. Because how many times are you able to have Lionel Messi come to your stadium and play? And for y'all waiting to know, the final score was 1-1. The Galaxy scored first. Joveljic, their striker, scored in the 75th minute. And then, of course, it had to be Lionel Messi getting the game-tying goal in the 90th minute of stoppage time to end the game 1-1. On red cards, we had Mark Delgado, which may be under scrutiny and controversy, considering right now the MLS has replacement referees. The man in the middle, I believe, gave Mr. Delgado a yellow for tackling / tripping, in quotations, Sergio Busquets, who went down fairly easy, mind you, in my opinion. And if you watch the instant replay, it was that. If anything, it should not have been a yellow on Delgado. It should have been a yellow on Busquets for simulation. But of course, Mark Delgado, being upset, kept yapping, and the referee was not having it, gave him a second yellow, and sent him off, which I believe the Galaxy are appealing the initial yellow card, considering although the referee does have the right of way to penalize or give a yellow or red for reckless play and endangerment of a player, if you watch the replay, Mark Degal was basically nowhere near Busquets when he slides in for the tackle. Stubbs were up, but like I said, nowhere near him. Busquets just went down to the floor, and yeah, that's how the game kind of went sideways for the Galaxy there for a bit, considering they went down to 10 men. But if you were to ask me, I feel like the Galaxy had a good grasp in the game. In that first half, probably should have been up 2 goals. The Galaxy were awarded a penalty. Ricky Puig went up to take it, went bottom right. Goalkeeper for Inter Miami, Drake Callender, got the stop. And yeah, I mean, I think it was a good game. That was the lone game I was able to watch. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of good stuff. So I'm hoping for a great MLS season this year, considering we have a lot of new faces. I think teams are starting to buy more, not big names, but people that can actually play. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But Danny, I've been going for a bit. Do you have anything else to add in regards to the start of the MLS season? Are you excited for this year, for this season?
Yeah, I'm excited for the season. I think it kicked off with a great start. Yeah, that Galaxy Inter Miami game. I think 2 of the more popular franchises. Especially since Messi has come over. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong, Rob, but it's like, kind of like, not without the rivalry, but like 2 big market teams like LA versus New York or LA versus Boston. Some of those bigger market teams, when they come together or they play each other, people are just watching that game, just because of the star power and the large fan bases.
No, yeah, I mean, you're correct there. And like I said, like, this is probably the first time where the Galaxy kind of got, how to put this, they got to see it from the other side, where back in the day, a lot of people came to see David Beckham when he was with the Galaxy. And you would go, let's say if it was Galaxy at like Salt Lake, you would probably see a lot more David Beckham jerseys at a Salt Lake home game than you would expect. And this time it was the other way around. Like, it was the Galaxy hosting the big name player. And yeah, it was that. A lot of people in pink, a lot of people in black. A lot of people that grew up watching Messi. A lot of younger kids who just barely started watching Messi. Wanting to support him. This was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you couldn't miss out on that. Like, how could you?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a pretty penny. I think the cheapest ticket I saw going on sale was $150.
Damn.
And then if you wanted to sit on the grass, it was $225.
Damn.
And that's before the fee.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this. I'm gonna see how I'm gonna be able to watch a lot of these other games because they're on Apple TV. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out something. I'm gonna have to go see if a local bar or somewhere in our area has it, or I don't know, find a stream somewhere. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. I haven't thought that far yet. I don't know. What do you think I should do, Danny?
I'm not gonna advise you on that one. I'm gonna leave it up to you, man.
Bruh. Sorry, not all our games can be on TNT, ESPN, or ABC. Some of them are going to be on Fox, though, so I have to keep an eye out for that. But it's not going to be that many. And they've been known to not be so good on their production value as well, so. Tisk. But, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, I think based off of this first weekend, yeah, like I said, Portland looked good. Columbus looked great. I wouldn't be surprised if they make another run at the Cup. DC United getting that 3-1 victory. It's pretty good considering they just let go of their head coach, Wayne Rooney. I know Minnesota just got a new head coach. I think someone from Manchester United, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm a little bit intrigued to see how Chicago Fire does. I think they're a big market team, or a team in a big market who hasn't, how would you say, grasped or fulfilled what they should have been doing this whole time. Like I said, they started out good. They won the MLS Cup in 1998. But after that, it just kind of whispered away. But yeah, those are the teams that have caught my attention. I don't know, Danny, I know you don't watch a lot of soccer, but pick a city. Pick a team that catches your attention on here.
Columbus Crew, the returning champs. I think they got a shot. Yeah, I mean, other than that, like FC Dallas went pretty far last year, um, right? FC Dallas seems pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's it. LAFC, I guess, because they made it to the finals last year. We'll see if they'll be able to, redeem themselves.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
They
those are
are
my top three
currently.
teams.
They are 7-0 on opening day now.
Wow, that's great. Good for them.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty good record to have. I'm curious to see what the bottom dwellers are gonna do. Like Toronto last year was bad. I mean Inter Miami was bad, but let's see
Yeah,
what you
but
can
you
do
still
with
have Messi.
yeah. You still have Messi, but still Luis Suarez is old. I mean, you got a lot of old, great soccer minds, but a lot of old legs.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to wait and see what they do with that. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami makes some moves in the summer and gets one or two players to help alleviate that. Because yeah, it's not gonna work if you got Luis Suarez who allegedly has knee pain and has allegedly said that it's not bugging him that much. But we have to wait and see what happens there. So, but yeah, I think that is it. Do you have anything else to add, Danny, in regards to the MLS season?
Not much. I'm just excited to see how it shakes out. Yeah, I say it every year, but this season I'm gonna watch more.
All right, bet. I'll let you know when the games are on Fox.
For sure.
All right, then. Are you ready to move on here, Danny?
Let's do it.
Alrighty, from the soccer pitch, we now move on to the hardwood, where we got NBA talk. A few things to note with our NBA conversation here. We know last week we had the NBA All-Star Game, which was not. I haven't seen anybody say it was great. So, Danny, can you confirm that it was not the best All-Star Game?
I mean, no. I think
basketball
most people were focused on like the actual All-Star game, which was not very competitive, not very fun to watch. It's like shooting around with your friends. Like it's great and all, but I think a lot of people were hoping with the East-West format coming back that something like that original competitiveness would return as well. But we unfortunately didn't get that. We got, it was a relatively high-scoring game. We got like a couple of cool shots. Dame, I think he hit like 2 half-court shots. Ended up winning the All-Star Game MVP, the Kobe Bryant Trophy. But other than that, I predicted the West was stacked. They did not try at all. The East definitely mollywopped them. The only person on the West really even trying was Karl Anthony Towns. So, I think just overall disappointing. Yeah, Cap. But
I mean, the final score was 211 to 186. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, the score says it all for you. There's like no defense there. Not a very competitive game. The Saturday events and stuff, the 3-point competition, dunk contest, Seth Curry and Sabrina Ionescu 3-point contest. Those I think were much more entertaining. I think a lot of people were looking forward to both the 3-point contest and Sabrina Ionescu's competition with Steph Curry. And both of those were pretty cool. Really cool to see. I think the 3-point competition got like a little bit of controversy afterwards because Kenny Smith is Big Mouth had to make a comment. Oh well. But it was really good to see Sabrina Ionescu lost, I think, by only like one or two baskets. 3. Yeah, it was 3 because I think Steph had made the 4-point balls.
I think so.
I think one more of the normal balls, and it ended up being so close. But it was a great competition. 3-point contest. I think Dame won the 3-point contest.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, it was really cool. The skill challenge sucked. Dunk contest sucked. But congrats to Mac McClung. He was the only good part of that.
Yeah, his last dunk was good. I think the first one he did was good, but they didn't want to give him a 50. Like, bro, he grabbed the ball, pumped it, let it go, and then grabbed it and then dunked it. Yeah. Like, bro, that was done, an insane and they didn't give him a 50. That's cap. All these old heads don't know nothing.
I forgot who gave him like a 49 or whatever, or a 9 out of 10. That's insane. It's the best dunk you've seen all day. But whatever.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
Mac
cap.
McClung, he's got a great future. Continuing to go into the dunk contest, he does really well.
No,
But
yeah. I mean, at least he's pushing the envelope. I mean, it was better
yeah,
than who's the guy from the Celtics?
Jalen Brown.
Yeah, Jalen Brown. That was cap. I think it was supposed to be that he closed his eyes, but obviously he didn't. And of
Yeah,
course he got booed because I guess he got too creative with it. Well, he got creative on the parts that he didn't need to be creative. The dunk was not creative, but his celebration of the dunk was creative. Where the what is it, the virtual I don't know, court,
the
it
floor.
changed to the Celtics. The
Yeah,
Celtics.
yeah. I mean, the I think his whole theme was like paying homage to like previous like players and stuff, which is cool and all, but the dunks don't do it. Like
Oh, it went over my
the
head. I
dunk
didn't even
still
know that.
has to the dunks still have to be something a bit of a spectacle, to be good enough to win you the contest. So I think that's where he fell short. Good storylines and stuff, but people won't. It's a dunk contest. People want to see you dunk the ball. So that was disappointing. But I mean, overall, I think the All Star weekend was great. It was just good to see everyone doing well this season, be out there and whatnot. Except for our two injuries, but yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was good.
I mean, dunking over Kai Sennett is not impressive.
Yeah, I know, and he's sitting in a chair. Like, dude, at least have him stand up. He's
Bro,
like 5'5", whatever.
bro. Yeah, I was like, was he like, because for the people to know, like that man Kai, he's a internet streamer, plays video games, talks with celebrities. What was he like streaming on his phone? Was that supposed to be the joke or
I,
the?
I
I don't
think he
know.
was on Instagram Live or something, or I don't know if he was streaming or not. I don't remember, but yeah, he was using his phone to video it.
Yeah, that was whack.
Yeah,
But yeah, Mac McClung, he was good. That was it. That was the only
yeah,
highlight because I
he was.
didn't get to see the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the Oscar game. I mean, overall disappointing. I think, yeah, like I said before, the competition was not very competitive. I think if there's a little bit of defense in there or a little bit of grit, I think some people proposed for the All Star game to take kind of the MLB format where the conference winners will get the finals home advantage. So like if West wins, the Western Conference team going into the finals will get home court advantage, which I think is interesting. I think it'll help teams um, play or help players get a little bit more competitive, but it's not going to be for all players. Like, there's definitely players on losing teams that are nominated for an All Star that won't care for that home advantage because they know, they might be in playoff contention, but they just know that they're not going to be able to make it to the finals. So I'm not sure how to fix it, but something needs to change with the All Star game, in general. But
Okay, I'm back.
moving
Sorry,
on,
my dog was yapping.
no worries.
I
Moving
was trying
on,
to say. Okay, finish my
no,
thought
go
real
ahead.
quick. I was trying to say, although I didn't see the whole thing, I saw tidbits and highlights. The skills challenge looked really bad. Like no one gave a shit.
Yeah, they made it
Considering
like
they
a
had,
team format again. It sucks.
considering that they had literally arrows on the floor and people were still not understanding instructions, and people were not even dribbling correctly. You had the ball dribbling off your foot. Like
Yeah,
what happened to like AI and Steve Nash and Chris Paul showing how it's done? Like we
yeah.
had
I mean,
people taking shots backwards. Like bro,
yeah.
it was
They just need
bad.
to fix. I mean, I think the All Star game needs to be fixed first. Skills challenge, whatever. Just like take it back to doing like regular skills and stuff. I think just having the players get more of an incentive to do something, in the challenge will make it more interesting at the very least. But I mean, we'll see what they do.
No, yeah, it was just not interesting. The dunk contest was subpar in my opinion. I don't know. I'm like, what else can you do? I feel like everything's already been done. I don't
I
know.
mean,
Maybe
relatively, yeah.
I'm like, what else can you do? I'm like, dunk from the 3-point line. I mean, obviously that's like physically impossible, but
Yeah, I mean,
but
but
still,
you know, you look online, you know, people who are doing, you know, basketball content online, dunkers and whatnot, their dunks are still really creative. I think there's still a lot to do for the All-Star game, but you know, it's like a balance. These guys are athletes. They don't want to hurt themselves trying to do a dunk that is, you know, looks great and is a good spectacle and looks amazing when you are able to flush it, but um if you're injuring yourself to do it and jeopardizing your season, I don't think players want to take that risk.
no, yeah, I feel you on that. But I don't know. But what were you gonna say before I came back, Danny? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there earlier.
No, yeah, I was just saying that the a proposal to make the All-Star game more interesting and more competitive was to change it to the MLB format where the winner would get the home court advantage for the finals. You know, like if Western Conference wins, the West gets home court advantage in the finals. Um, but who knows if that'll really make it more interesting because not all players are expected to go into finals contention. You know.
I know, and I hate to break it to you, Danny. It doesn't work. They don't give a shit either.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
if
But
you're like a really good player on a crappy team.
exactly.
Like, wait, you want me to
That's
play
the argument.
good, so another team can go further.
Exactly.
I have been seeing people are saying why don't they put money up for it?
Yeah,
Like
like
they did
in
it
the
already
in-season
for
tournament.
the
Yeah.
yeah they did it for the in-season tournament. Just put some cash up in there and see what happens.
Yeah, they could. They could, but you know, usually the argument there is usually those all-star players already have huge contracts because even if they're on a bad team, you know, they're the best player on the bad team, so their contracts are already big enough. Like, what's the incentive for them to do it? You know, like for the in-season tournament, you know, your star players and whatnot, they might be a little more competitive because they want their guys to win. You know, because everyone gets the money, but in an all-star format, you know, they're already higher paid guys, so it's not as much of an incentive.
That's true. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I have a feeling the NBA is not even gonna touch it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think they're gonna make a change because they just have to. But we'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, Danny, is that everything you have to say about the NBA All Star game?
Yes, sir.
Well, I would like to ask you. I know you can see on our screens here the standings. So I wanted to at least get your feelings on how do you think the second half of the NBA season will go in regards to all the teams that we have here.
Yeah. I guess the standings are pretty good, especially in the East. Excuse me. Excuse me. The standings are pretty much solidified. I think. You know, the top six teams in the East, starting from number one, Boston Celtics, Cleveland Cavaliers, Milwaukee Bucks, New York Knicks, Philadelphia 76ers, and then the Miami Heat. They're pretty much solidified, I think, except for the Heat. The Pacers can definitely make a run when Tyrese Halliburton gets back to full strength. Yeah, I mean, and the Sixers without Embiid, they're doing decent. I mean, they're on a big losing streak. In general, I know they're only on a streak of one now, but without Embiid, they're just not the same team. He's an offensive force of nature, so if he's able to return by first round of the playoffs, maybe second round if they're able to survive, that definitely puts him back in championship contention. But you know, is he going to be in basketball shape by the time he recovers? So that's a question. The same thing for the Knicks. Julius Randle's been out. Pascal, or sorry, not Pascal. OG Anunoby's been out, so we'll see if they'll be able to make a deep run. But the Bucks have been on a recent winning streak after losing a few. Since Doc Rivers has come on, they're looking to bounce back. And yeah, I mean, the Cavaliers are still hot. We'll see how hot they are, but Boston is just, you know, they're the best team in the league right now. And I think that's where they're going to stay. They're the only super team in the league, I think. So it's expected for them to be up top. We'll see if they choke in the playoffs.
Again,
in the West, oh sorry, Rob, been yapping on for
no, it's all
about a
good.
minute.
I mean,
What do you
it's all
think about
good.
the East?
Well, I just wanted to chime in. I mean, shout out to Donovan Mitchell. He's carrying. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Is he carrying the Cleveland Cavaliers on his back? Is that what's
Yeah, I
happening
mean,
here?
he is, but there's a lot of great guards and players on the Cavaliers team. Um, uh, what am I saying? Darius Garland. There, Max Strus has been hot recently. There's just so many shooters on that team. I think the Cavs have like one of the best starting five, plus minuses, in there anyway. Yeah, Evan Mobley, been doing great. Yeah, I mean they're just a solid team right now.
Oh,
Jared
okay.
Allen is
And
doing
then
awesome.
and then the Celtics. Although yeah, you're telling me this is the record, but weren't we here around this time last year having the same conversation that
Yeah, I
the
think
Celtics are gonna run the
Milwaukee.
table and they're gonna steamroll to the finals, and then what
Yeah,
happened? They like laid a fat ass egg.
yeah. Well,
So I
yeah. I
don't
mean,
know.
Jason
And
Tatum
I
disappeared for
even
the third playoff season in a
e-
row.
even in the in season tournament, I was like, oh yeah, the Boston Celtics look great right now, and then once again faded into to no man's land.
Yeah,
So
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know.
think
I've been duped by the Celtics one too many times now.
yeah, I think that's just the inexperience of Jason Tatum, but he's young. He's 25 years old. This is gonna be his whatever. I think his fourth playoff run or whatever. Um,
Yes,
fourth, fifth. Um,
in that ballpark, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's come with experience. I think this year he's really stepped up to know when to shine, take clutch shots when it's appropriate, not force anything. His shot selection is much better this season than in previous times. I think with the personnel around him now, there are so many shooters, and with Kristaps, it just really makes it easier to play with. You got so many other options. There's not so much of a microscope on you, and when players are doubling you, when they know the ball's gonna come to you, like let's say there's a clutch moment, end of the game, they need a game winner, uh, ball's looking to go to either Tatum or Brown. When that double comes, you have more people to feed it to. You got Drew Holiday, you got Kristaps Porzingis. There's just so many other people that the ball could go to now. Derek White, been having an amazing season. That it just makes it so much easier for you to feel pressure, but you don't have to force the shot if it's not there. You got someone else that is able to benefit off that double team and take the better shot. So I think the Celtics have a much better chance this year. We'll see if Tatum fades away in the playoffs, like you said, but I think the standings in the East are pretty much set, except for that Pacers team might be able to move up. And the Knicks and the Sixers, if their players come back, Julius Randle and Joel Embiid, they'll be moving up, I believe. But we'll just have to see.
No, yeah, I mean, I think you're right. But moving on, how's the West stacking up? We have Minnesota at 1, Thunder at 2, Nuggets at 3, Clippers at 4, Suns at 5, and then rounding out the top 6, we got the Pelicans holding on for dear life. Then 7 through 10, we got the Kings, Dallas, the Lakers, and then Golden State. How do you think that's going to end right there, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, in the West, the top teams are so close. I mean, even 1 through 6 are pretty close. I think except for there's a pretty big drop off when you hit 5. Um, Teams 1 through 4 are between 1 and 2.5 games apart. And then when you jump to 5 and 6, there's a little block in between. 5 through 8 are about 6.5, 7 games apart from number 1. So they're really only a game and a half apart. So everything from 1 through 8 is up for grabs, and then you've got the Lakers and the Warriors looking from the outside in. They're in the play-in, but they're looking and definitely can still grab a 6 seed or maybe a 5 seed if something happens. What's really surprised me is the Oklahoma City Thunder. I thought they're gonna slide, go on a losing streak and whatnot, but they've been holding strong. The Minnesota Timberwolves, number 1 team in the West, holding it strong. They're tied with Oklahoma City
as
around
of this
with the
recording.
same record for first and second and whatnot. But the Denver Nuggets, returning champions, you can never count them out. The Clippers were, last time we talked about it, an extremely hot streak, and they continue to be. I know they just lost the other night, but everyone's been playing extremely well on that team. Excuse me. The Suns, I think, are finally figuring it out, and the Pelicans have been quietly just winning games here and there, figuring their things out. I don't know if they'll be able to make a deep playoff run. They are extremely deep as a team. All of their bench players can definitely drop 20 on any given night. But another team that surprised me, but the opposite way, disappointingly, the Sacramento Kings. They slipped out of the top 6. And I know now all these teams are definitely trying to make a run after All-Star break. So we'll see what teams are able to run up. I think the Lakers, the Kings, and the Mavs. I mean, the Warriors too, but I don't know if the Warriors have the personnel and the energy to make a push. They're all teams that are expected to be in the top 6, if not in the top 5. But with their abysmal start to the season, I don't know if they'll be able to recover in time and save the legs to make a deep playoff run and gun for the championship. So we'll see what it is. I think the Kings have a good route to go to the second round. At 7, they'll face the Oklahoma City Thunder, which I think they'll be able to knock out. The Mavs, if they're not careful, the Lakers can definitely take their spot and end up as the 8th seed going into the playoffs. So we'll see what it is, Rob. What are your thoughts on the West?
I don't know. Like I said last time, one of the last times we talked, I'm still shocked about the Thunder being up there. But you said, hey, this might be their time to get to that next level, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like you said, yeah, the Pelicans hanging around. I think last time we spoke as well, the Kings were in the top 6, but they've been dumped down.
Yep.
I would expect the Mavericks to be better, considering they have Luka, who is just great. And yeah, the Lakers and the Warriors are just those teams that they look great on paper, but for certain reasons they cannot get it going. For the Lakers, it's like they win, they lose. They're very inconsistent. Same thing with the Warriors. It's like you guys have all this talent and it's still going nowhere. But what do I know? A couple weeks ago, or not so long ago, they played a game against each other, and it was like the highest viewed game of the season so far. So, what the hell do I know? But yeah, it's been good so far. Still, I want to see how Minnesota does in the playoffs, though, because that's where it's gonna kind of matter a bit.
Yeah, I think they definitely have a chance to make it far in the playoffs. I'm not sure if Anthony Edwards and that team are championship ready. I feel like Denver is the more experienced team, and they'll be able to, with their championship experience, make it further. They just know how to play in a playoff situation. You can't count Jokic out. So I think Minnesota this year, it'd be a miracle if they make it to the finals. But however far they go, I think they go to the conference finals. They'll be able to at least give the other team a run for their money, get the experience, and next year they'll come back as contenders.
Yeah, like you said, we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yep.
I think maybe I'll end it here. I think maybe in the West, although it's close, I think someone's gonna break away. Who? I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have that itch. Maybe I have one team could do it, but that's
who do you think?
No one else. I don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna
Maybe
definitively say, from this very tight West, the bottom 2 teams that I think will clinch the playoffs are, the Mavs. No, I take it back. The Kings and the Lakers. I think the Lakers have it, with their pickup of Spencer Dinwiddie, and hopefully, Gabe Vincent comes back. So, I think they've got it the way Anthony Davis has been playing.
You're a sucker, Danny.
And the Mavs, I think they're just riddled by injuries a little bit right now. So, yeah, I think the Mavs and the Lakers and the Kings will be able to clinch that 7th and 8th seed in the playoffs.
Okay, I see you, man. But yeah, I think that is everything. Do you have anything else to add in regards of the NBA so far? Something very
Oh,
quickly.
sir. I mean, I'm just excited to see. This is the time that most casual fans tune in after All Star break. Everyone makes their playoff push. So I'm excited to see what type of basketball we see in the next couple of weeks and into the next month.
All right, I see you. But yeah, are you ready to move on? We're still gonna be doing a little bit more basketball. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
All right, we are now officially in the warm up, and this week's topic is court storming. So I'm gonna read you a quick excerpt from an article that I found in regards to why we're talking about this. Mere seconds after Duke was upset by Wake Forest at Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum Saturday, Wake Forest students and fans rushed to the court when center Kyle Febloski appeared to get clipped by the foot by a fan. Febloski injured his knee as members of the team came to his aid to help him get toward the locker room. So, we like to highlight the dangers and wonders of court storming, and I wanted to pick at Danny's brain because, yeah, I think court storming is cool and all, and I think maybe if you would ask me a couple years ago, I'd be like, all right, it's whatever, but it's starting to get a little out of hand in the case that people are just storming the court just because, and that's where it gets a little risky and dangerous. I mean, of course, like you've had major upsets in which, yeah, the home team, the home fans, get all rallied up, they storm the court, they storm the field, whatever the sport may be, and it gets the people going. You get your photo, and it looks great. But yeah, you can't be having people running onto the floor and injuring the competitors. Like we had Caitlin Clark, for example. People were saying that she flopped, but still, she had like 20 people running at her, and yeah, it's like, bro, like this is a safety issue. Like someone could get hurt, or worse, someone gets run into, and as one coach said, you have legal issues there. I mean, I think I could say it. A fight can break out. People can get severely injured. With this type of stuff.
Someone get trampled, pushed over, sprain wrist, sprain whatever, and it jeopardizes the season.
I don't know. Die?
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's become a phenomenon that, I think it is starting to get out of hand. I don't know, Danny. I know this is probably the first time you've heard of this, but what's your opinion about it?
Yeah, I mean, I saw there were two court storming things. I think one was last week or something like that. The NCAA men's and then the women's court storming. But in both cases, it just doesn't make sense. Like that, there's no reason for. I know college fans are much more spirited than NBA or professional fans, but like it's just no reason to put people at risk like that. Like, I'm not just saying for the players, like fans, the crowd crush and whatever, people getting trampled, it could happen. And people, especially storming over seats and stuff, people get injured walking up and down the stairs. You think a whole mess of people storming onto the court, jumping over chairs and people and whatnot. It's not going to end with some injuries that just don't get reported. It's just going to happen. So, yeah, I think security needs to be tightened up and whatnot. I think this is like a portion of like NCAA that they still have to figure out. They got a lot of other stuff to figure out, including their revenue streams and whatnot. But this is just something they have to figure out. They got to tighten security and whatnot about it, because it's ridiculous. It's an aspect of sports that you shouldn't have to worry about.
Yeah, because Scott Van Pelt on ESPN brought up a good point. I think it was him. He said, like, you guys organize people to park. You guys organize people to sit. It's like, how come we can't organize, protection or safety? Or I forgot how he worded it, but I mean, it makes sense, the way he was like describing it.
Yeah, and I know it's a tall order, to say like, hey, there's way more fans than there are security, than there are players, than there are like even like staff in the whole arena, right? The arena has way more people, whatever. But if you're able to make it safe in ways where it's in people's minds, please you just add, putting signs, asking people, hey, celebrations cannot storm court. Just have a fine out there. You don't have to even pursue it, but just say, hey, if you storm the court, you may be fined, whatever. Because
No,
it
well,
is
the schools
entirely
do
a
get
safety
fined
issue.
though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the schools get fined, but just saying like, hey, as an individual person, you may get fined and you may get banned from the arena if you're
Well,
found
I
to.
mean, it's like a couple thousand people running onto the court in the field.
Exactly.
So
But what I'm saying, like the
gonna be
threat
kinda
of
hard.
it might prevent someone from doing it, because how else are you gonna do it? You can't line it with security. You can't line the court with security, right? You can't
Well, I mean
have
you
players
could, but also
body block it. But you're not gonna be able to stop 1,000, 5,000.
no, but
The
you're
stadiums
not
hold
gonna be
like
able.
10,000 people.
So you're saying is they should bluff, kinda.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there's no way
Right.
you could fine or ticket.
Yeah, you can't, but the threat of it
It's
might stop people who otherwise would have been like, oh, there's no consequences if I run on the court. Just the threat of it
Yeah.
will dissuade people from going in and running on the court, thinking that there's no repercussions for their actions.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it's an idea.
Yeah, it's an idea. I think you just have to do something like, or even on planes or whatever, asking people, please stay seated, please keep your seatbelt on, just like letting people know that, hey, this is a safety issue, please don't do this, it puts everyone in jeopardy. I think most reasonable people will say that, hey, I'm excited for my team, but one, that brings it into perspective for me, like, hey, I didn't know I can get crushed. I just get excited in the moment, but when the moment comes, like, oh shit, I'm running to the court, but there's like 10 people behind me, I'm gonna get crushed or whatever, or trampled. I'm not gonna move, or I'm gonna move off to the side, and that's one less person on the court, one less person to worry about getting hurt or hurting someone else. We'll see what it is, though. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough thing to police.
No, yeah, because, I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm as of right now, yeah, I guess I'm against it. I mean, it looks cool, but also like, don't be doing it for
cool.
every game.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a great celebration and whatnot, but the players storming the court is enough. Like, why do fans have to be on there?
No, yeah, I mean that makes sense. But like, speaking of court stormings and field stormings, I want to bring up some historical ones that I've witnessed with my own eyes, either in person or over the interwebs and video. We had Texas versus Texas Tech. I mean, two rivals. Texas was up by a couple points on Texas Tech in a football game. And with 1 second left, Texas Tech took the lead. But you know what happened there, Danny? When they scored the touchdown, the operator let the game clock run to 0, which was not the correct time. And since everyone saw 0, everyone ran onto the field, when in reality there was 1 second left.
Oh my God. What are they going to do in 1 second?
Well, what happened was when they put that 1 second on, when they scored that touchdown, everyone ran onto the field.
Yeah.
So they had to get everyone off the field. And then I think they still had to kick the field goal. And then I think they ran onto the field again because they thought the game was over, but they still had to they still had to do the kickoff. Yeah. So by the time, also you get penalized for that, by the way. So by the time Texas Tech had to kick the ball, they were like kicking from like their own 20, basically.
Jesus.
So yeah, finally they kicked the ball, and then everyone stormed the field because the game was over.
It's 1 second. As soon as they catch it, it's over.
No, yeah, but yeah, that shit was bonkers because they all ran to the field and they had it. So there's like a crowd of people on the sideline, basically.
Yeah.
This one, Auburn versus Alabama. I mean, I remember this one. Daniel Tom, he knows of this. Alabama had to kick a field goal. I think they were tied. We're trying to kick a field goal, 58-yarder. Kicker didn't have the leg. The Auburn returner from their back of their own end zone runs the back 100 and something yards to the house. And of course the commentator goes, "They're not keeping them off the field tonight." And you just see a shit ton of people run onto the field. I mean, like that alone, let alone, is worth storming the field. A game-winning, I don't even know what
100-yard return. That's crazy.
Yeah, or it was like 109 yards.
Jesus.
Unfortunately, they don't count the extra 10 yards in college football. So officially, it's 100 yards, but he ran it back from his own end of the end zone.
I mean, they should count that. It should be total distance traveled. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't count yardage from the yard line. It's total distance traveled. Insane.
I feel like the math isn't mathing.
It's literally not mathing.
Scott Van Pelt brought up this one. I forgot. I can't find the clip no more. But basically, the Yankees hit a home run to win the game, like a walk-off home run, and the guy's running around the bases, and you see people trying to high-five him.
Storming the field.
And I don't know if you know this, Danny, but even though he hit a home run, he still needs to go around the bases.
Needs to surround the bases. Yeah.
And touch home plate.
Yeah.
So he's like getting the third, and everyone's trying to hug him. Like, bro, he needs to touch the.
Yeah, it's not a run yet.
Yeah, so he hits third, like sprints past home plate, and then
he didn't touch it.
He touched home plate. He sprinted past it.
Yeah.
And you just see all the Yankee players like literally trucking people to get into the dugout.
Jesus.
Because like it was a shit show. And then I'm pretty sure you're wondering what I put down here. Cubs disco night.
Yeah.
So once upon a time ago, the Cubs were trying to get people through the door for the games. And there's this little genre of music called disco. And I guess a lot of people were kind of over it. I think it was already the late 70s. And they were trying to kill disco. So they told the people, if you bring like a disco record, you'll get into the game for free or whatever. And you donate it to our 7th inning entertainment show, which will be, we are blowing up all the disco records.
Oh, I think we talked about this.
Yeah, have we? Okay.
Yeah, we talked about this. I think
like a while back. Oh,
yeah, it was a while back.
So of course, what happens? They blow up all the records. It's a big fire pit. People run to the field, and then riot police had to get called in, and the game got canceled.
That's crazy.
No, yeah. So you don't want that happening. Yeah. That's why I always wondered. So I'm like, you don't see that in like professional sports a lot either. You see it like in Europe, like in soccer, where like either A teams win or B teams lose and get relegated.
Yeah.
Because the fans are pissed because you're going from one division and you're going down a division. So I mean, I could see that. But it's not like malicious. To my knowledge, there hasn't been no consequences to it, but still a lot of people. But yeah, just as a PSA to everybody, please be careful out there. Don't hurt nobody and don't get into no fights because it would just kill the vibes.
Yep.
But yeah, I just wanted to highlight those. But yeah, Dan, do you have anything else to add in regards to this incident of the court storming? All right, then with that, we will jump into the rundown. Are you ready, Danny? In the rundown, to start off, we have our CONCACAF Champions Cup update. Tournament is still underway as of this recording. We have Orlando City facing off against Calvary, Philadelphia Union going up against Saprissa, and the Houston Dynamo going up against St. Louis City. Then Wednesday, the 28th, if you're happening to be listening to this, we have FC Cincinnati going up against Calvary, and then Nashville SC going up against MOVA. Then Thursday as well, we have the one lone game, which will be the New England Revolution going up against Independiente for the second leg. Then next week, just as a reminder, we have UEFA Champions League with the round of 16 continuing. This is also the second leg. Thursday, March 5th, we have Bayern Munich versus Lazio. Then Real Sociedad versus PSG. Those games are at 3 p.m. Eastern. Then Wednesday, March 6th, we have Real Madrid versus RB Leipzig, 3 p.m. Eastern. Manchester City versus Copenhagen, 3 p.m. Eastern as well. Then on the 12th of March, continuing the second legs, we have Arsenal versus FC Porto and Barcelona versus Napoli at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then wrapping it up, we have Wednesday, the 13th of March, Borussia Dortmund and PSV. And then the second game, is Atletico Madrid versus Inter Milan. Those games are at 4 p.m. Eastern as well. And I would like to apologize. I try to report and update everybody on a lot of sports. I know it can be a little hard to follow at times. But I would like to apologize. There was a tournament going on that just slipped my mind. But in my defense, it was not being promoted that well. It is the CONCACAF Women's Gold Cup, which is currently underway, which features the U.S. women's national team. This is the first iteration of the tournament as well, by the way. And yeah, I mean, it's been going pretty well. Most of the games are being hosted in Southern California at Dignity Health Sports Park and Snapdragon Stadium. I think there's a few games out in Houston, to my knowledge. But I like to bring it up because, yeah, I mean, it's the first iteration of the tournament. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. It's going to help push the sport here a bit with the women's game at least. But I'm bringing it up as well because we had somewhat of an upset the other day, Danny. The U.S. women's team was facing against their local rival, Mexico, in which Mexico got the upset 2-0, who hadn't defeated the U.S. since 2010.
That's crazy.
By the way. Yeah, so a little bit of an upset there. Just to give you some countries that are participating. Yeah, like I said, USA, Mexico, Dominican Republic, Argentina, Panama, Colombia, Brazil, Puerto Rico, Paraguay, Costa Rica, Canada, and El Salvador. So, yeah, those are the teams that are participating in this iteration of the tournament. Right now, they're still in the group stage. After that, they will have the quarterfinals, which will be taking place March 2nd and the 3rd. And then semifinals will be Wednesday, March 6th, and I believe the final will be Sunday, March 10th. All these games will be broadcasted on Paramount Plus. So if you're interested in women's international soccer, go to Paramount Plus and check them out. Next up, still in the soccer landscape for the U.S. men's national team, it was recently announced that the U.S. national team will face Brazil in the second All-State Continental Classico on June 12th at Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. The match will be broadcast live on TNT, Telemundo, Universal, Max, and Peacock, and on Football de Primera Radio. Coverage will begin at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, with kickoff set for 7:07 p.m. And then finally, to leave y'all, as an update, the NASCAR season finally started. William Byron took home the first victory of the season, winning the Daytona 500. So congratulations to him. And this past weekend, we had another race with Danny, I kid you not, you have to look it up. If you can, look it up real quick. In a three-way photo finish, Daniel Suarez took home the W at the Am Better Health 400 in Atlanta Motor Speedway. I think it's the smallest margin of victory in the race in NASCAR history. That's how close it was. It was 3 cars going wide, and like, even I can't even tell who won because it's so close, Danny. It's so close.
Pulling it
up. Yeah, keep looking it up, and then for next week's race, or this week's race, I should say, Sunday, March 3rd, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, we will have the Penzo 400 presented by Jiffy Lube, not a sponsor, and that race will be in Las Vegas Motor Speedway, out in the desert. Danny, have you looked it up yet?
Yep, I see. Wow, it's so close. This is literally, what is it? This is like Cars, huh? The Cars movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Someone had posted that where he sticks out his tongue.
Yeah.
Dude, that's just hilarious. But yeah, dude, that close.
Super close.
I'm still looking at it. I still can't even tell you.
Yeah, it's insane.
But yeah, great finish though. Great finish to a race.
Yeah.
But yeah, Danny, do you have anything else to add in the rundown? Was there anything else that caught your eye in the sports world that we did not talk about today?
No, you literally covered everything. Yeah, I think, I had nothing else.
All right, and then I guess we'll start wrapping it up here. Thank you for listening to Rambling Runoff. If you're listening on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the like button as well. If you're on Spotify, if you're hearing us on Spotify for the first time, please give us a 5-star rating. Really appreciate it. We're also on Spotify for podcasters, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And yeah, if you want to hear from us on the socials, we're on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Rambling Runoff. Also on Instagram, at Rambling Runoff. Sometimes, every once in a while, we post on TikTok as well. Yes, thank you again for listening to Rambling Runoff. I've been your host, Robert Rios. For my co-host, Danny Tan, we will see you next time. Peace out.
Peace.
Woo!